Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council to order. We do have a quorum. I would ask that you remember to silence your cell phones before we get started tonight. And stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before Pastor Diane comes up for the invocation, I would just like to take a moment to remember former council member Kathy Donk, who passed away earlier this week. Kathy was a member of our council from November of 2016 through November of 2020, when she was forced to resign due to health reasons and move down to Phoenix to be closer to her family. Kathy was a great advocate for our community. It was her leadership that really helped the Nature Center become what it is today, as well as her efforts with the Chamber of Commerce and the Arizona Office of Tourism, where she worked during the 80s. So we remember Kathy with great fondness. She was a wonderful, generous, kind soul, and we hope that her family is doing well in this difficult time, and her services will be next week in Mesa, and it's our understanding that will probably be something later on up here this summer. So if you join me in a moment of silence, please.
Let us pray. Great Spirit, God, Father, Creator, once again we come before you and we ask your blessings upon this meeting. We give you thanks for Kathy's life and for the way she's impacted this community and touched so many other lives. Be with her family as they walk this journey of grief. We also come before you with thanksgiving as we recognize and celebrate the municipal clerks who faithfully keep our cities running, our military personnel who serve to preserve our freedoms, Parker Rigg and Ron Miller, and our local collection center. Thank you for those who are sitting before us and in this room, for those who expend their time and use their gifts and talents to assist in making our cities the best that they can be. Would you give our council members and our mayor wisdom and discernment as they make difficult decisions, and please increase their time tenfold. Protect and be with each of us, our neighbors, and our first responders, and be present with us this evening as we join together as one. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Diane. Item B on our agenda tonight is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the town. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up at a call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. The council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda will not be heard during call to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. We have a request from Leslie Wetzel to come address us, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. I just wanted to come. I had a few things on my mind, but I was able to visit with Keith before the meeting, and I'm not going to blast you with them right now. But I tell you, the highway was on my mind, and so I'm asking you to please keep the pressure on the state legislators and ADOT to follow through. I got a good explanation of what we're hoping to have happen, and I appreciate that. I wanted to thank you for the collection center. That's amazing and wonderful, and we use it regularly. We don't have it picked up at our house, but we use the collection center. One of my concerns was the trail around the lake in the wintertime. And it's just, sometimes it gets icy and snowy, and you're not aware that the ice is underneath the snow, and it's a little bit dangerous on a couple of places of our trail. And I understand that we're talking about that and maybe trying to remedy that as well. So thank you for that. That's probably it. But really what I wanted to do is just thank you for your hard service. It's not easy sitting on a council and making those hard decisions. And I, for one, am very grateful for what you're doing and for the decisions that you make on behalf of all of us. And I just wanted you to know that because maybe you don't hear that often enough. So thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. We do appreciate your comments very much. Item C on the agenda tonight is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be acted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion unless a member of council requests that an item or item be removed for discussion. Council members may ask questions without removal of the item from the consent agenda, and items removed are considered in their normal sequence unless called out of sequence. We've got 2 items tonight. Any discussion, questions? Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item before or after council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Proclamation of 54th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Before I start, I think it's appropriate to recognize our first town clerk, Leslie Wessel, who joined us tonight. So thank you for all you did to help our community get going. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participating in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, Stephanie Irwin, Mayor of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, will recognize the week of April 30th through May 6, 2023 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our own professional municipal clerk, Christy Salsko, and Deputy Clerk, Mackenzie Volishnik, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona, done this 4th day of May, 2023. And I just thank Christy. She's on her way to Hawaii tonight, so she's not with us, or she's leaving tomorrow. But we appreciate everything Christy does, and Mackenzie is ready to step in whenever we need her, and so they really keep us going, keep us on the straight and narrow. Keith.
I'll put this out real quick, but also in the very near future, we'll be recognizing Christy for having received her certified municipal clerk designation. She was just had a meeting this week with the people that oversee that, and they told her that she had passed. So once we get formal announcements and all that, we'll bring that back to the council in the very near future, I'm sure.
That's wonderful news, and I know
Congratulate her on that.
Yeah, I know it's taken a lot of hard work on her part, so congratulations to her. Moving on then to item D2, which is Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Proclamation of National Police Week. Vice Mayor.
Proclamation, Town of Pinetop-Lakeside National Police Week, May 14th through 20th, 2023. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Pinetop-Lakeside Police Department. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 23,700 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., whereas 556 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 224 officers killed in 2022 and 332 officers killed in previous years. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 35th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2023. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 14th through the 20th. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside will observe May 14th through 20th, 2023 as National Police Week in the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona. Done this 4th day of May, 2023.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We thank all of our police officers and Vice Mayor Buse for his previous service. Thank you, sir. And I just would like to commend the city of Show Low. If you haven't had an opportunity to go to the Regional Police Officers, Peace Officers Memorial that they just dedicated a couple weeks ago, it's absolutely beautiful. It honors, I believe, 17 officers who have lost their lives in Navajo County going back to, I believe, was it 1892? Do you remember, Commander?
That's correct.
I think the first one was 1892 on up to the most recent Apache officer who lost his life a couple years ago. So it's really a beautiful tribute, and we all were part of that, but I commend John Jarrett for his guidance on that. So it was really beautiful if you haven't had a chance to go see it. Item D4, recognition of Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee, MIAC, graduating senior Parker Rigg. Melina. I skipped D3. I'm so sorry. Hang on, just 1 minute. I got ahead of myself. Item D3, Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Proclamation of Military Appreciation Month, May 2023. Councilor Snitzer.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation, Military Appreciation Month, May 2023. Whereas the Armed Forces of the United States continues to serve as a unified team at home and at installations throughout the world, ensuring our own security and the security of our allies, and fostering the settlement of international differences by peaceful processes. And whereas enlightened understanding and unwavering support of our armed forces by an informed American people are vital to the strength and vigor of our armed forces. And whereas our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, and Coast Guardsmen, from whom we ask so much, are the cornerstone of our military might and richly deserve to have a special day set aside in their honor. And whereas Arizona is forever grateful for the sacrifices of time and treasure made each day by Arizona's armed forces families. And whereas our citizens owe an eternal debt of gratitude to our armed forces members. Now therefore I, Stephanie Irwin, Mayor of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Military Appreciation Month in the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, Arizona, done on this 4th day of May 2023. Stephanie Irwin, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Snitzer. I'd also like to remind everybody that Armed Services Day will be commemorated on May 20th at 11 o'clock right out here at the VFW Memorial if anybody's interested in attending. Okay, now we're ready for you, Parker. I'm sorry. Melena Parker.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Again, it's my privilege to be here. I've had the privilege to work with this guy for the last few years too. Parker is graduating this year, and he has served on MIAC for the last 3 years. He's currently our chairman and has been our chairman this year and done an awesome job. Especially coming out of COVID and just trying to get back in the swing of things when there was nothing that we got done, you know. They've done an awesome job and appreciate Parker's leadership. When he graduates, he will be heading off to his mission in Chile, correct?
Yep.
And I've known Parker since he was little tiny. Parker plays soccer, runs track. Did you wrestle this year too? No, I didn't think so. I didn't think you did. And is just a phenomenal student, comes from a great family. He is the third Rigg to be on MIAC and serve as chairman, or chairperson, I should say, since your sister was too. And it's just been an honor and a privilege to have all the Rigg kids, but Parker as well. So we've got this for you, Parker, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
We still have a couple meetings left with Parker, so we look forward to that. And currently they're working on a new project that we'll be bringing to council in our update. So thank you, Parker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Parker. Hang on.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, do you want to come over in front of the dais meeting, or we can go right here? So I'm gonna let you guys take pictures, just the two of you.
Oh, okay.
You're all ready to go.
Come on. Okay, in the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle.
One, two.
Don't run off.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Melena.
Thank you, Parker.
Good job.
So, I know you're leaving on your mission in July. Can you tell us what you're going to do when you get back?
I'm going to attend BYU Provo, fall of 2025. And I don't know what I'm studying yet, but
Well, I'm sure you've got a couple years to think about that. Anyway,
Thank you.
okay, well, thank you for being part of our MIAC committee. I find it interesting to watch all of you grow in your roles as the years progressed. So anyway, thank you. Good luck in the future, and we hope to hear from you and see what you're up to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D5 is the recognition of Trax board member Ron Miller for his accomplishment in receiving the Citizen Forester of the Year Award. Councilors Krigbaum and Snitzer, I believe, will be presenting this tonight.
First of all, I hope it's here, yes. As a representative of Trax, Jim and I are both longtime Trax members. We are here to recognize our own Ron Miller. He's on our board and he's been wonderful. He was selected by the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management as their 2023 Citizen Forester of the Year. This recognition is for someone who upholds and demonstrates values associated with a dedication to forestry and responsible management of the forest resources. On the agency's website, Ron was selected because of the following. Ron led monthly nature hikes to teach forest ecology. He organized and presented to 5 different school groups and to teach them about the local trees, and created a memorial arboretum using native tree species to honor local people, and gave presentations for the monarch reforestation, all as a volunteer. And we personally know how much more he does. So we're really happy to have him. He brought his
award from the state.
And then, did you want to say something about the town here?
Yeah, so when I was down there, it was at the Capitol building, and as well as, this is the agenda that we had down there, and as well as our recognitions, there's a list in here for Tree City, USA. And it's quite an extensive list, and it lists the most recent town, that of Springerville, as having been Tree City, USA for 3 years. But if you go all the way to the bottom, the one with the most years is Scottsdale at 41 years, but Pinetop-Lakeside is right above that at 38 years of being Tree City, USA. So quite an honor for this town as well. So,
Thank you for sharing that, Ron.
all right.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. And thank you that you have board
You want
members
us
that
to
are on
come
tracks
around
as well.
Yeah.
You want us to stay here? You want us? Right.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We're so fortunate to have volunteers such as Ron in our community. Item D6 is a recognition of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside's Collection Center and presentation of the Bronze Voluntary Environmental Stewardship Certificate of Recognition for an exceptional 3-year performance record. Manny Bowler from ADQ, welcome.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm so glad I get to be here again. I was just here 2 months ago where I kind of mentioned the Voluntary Environmental Stewardship Program. And here we are, recognizing the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside, the transfer station, which I use myself all the way from the recycling center, at least I use coming from Eager. I have a small presentation just so that we can go over it, because it's not just a simple little thing. And I wanted to share with you. You can just flip through the slides, right, for me? Can you do that? Perfect. A lot of words. Remember, it's basically a program that the state legislature asked ADQ to implement to help recognize corporations and entities that voluntarily improve services and reduce emissions and recycle and things like that. We know that it is easier to create compliance when having companies do things voluntarily, because it's a lot more meaningful and it's sustainable. That's basically what that says. The program leads up to platinum. As you can see, there are these stair steps all the way. Copper is the first recognition. I want to go to the next slide. And it talks briefly about, it's basically when you're doing a project that resulted in measurable improvements, whether that be a one-time event, whether the schools do that event, whether you have a youth group, like your youth council does an event, an environmental event, or they do something that is recognizable because it makes the environment a better place to be. They could be nominated for a copper. Next one. Bronze, which is what the transfer station is getting, is basically a regulated facility that has made great strides in an effort to improve the environment through regulation. Next one is silver. As you can read, it's to prevent pollution and conserve natural resources, which I know the town does, so you should be able to get a silver. So I want to come back with a silver recognition. Next is gold. Is basically the organization is willing to develop an environmental management system, and that is doable. And I want to let you know that Sholo is very close to getting that done. And so when they have it finished, they said that they're willing to share. So I would be more than happy to work with Keith and his team to see what that might look like. Having had Sholo go through it, it's taken them a number of years, but just because it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of tracking of information, but once it's there, it leads to the next slide, which is platinum. And so once you have This then, basically you put in the environmental management system and it qualifies you for the platinum recognition. What are the benefits? Generally, with being as part of being part of the VEST program means that you get pre-notifications if there's an inspection coming up. Generally, ADQ just shows up, but because we know that you are in the program and you take great care to be environmentally superior, we give you the benefit of the doubt and we make an appointment. Enforcement notice and recognition, and sometimes there's permit flexibility. It just depends on the situation. That's what I came to share with you, and there's my contact information. And so I was hoping that Matt would come up and with anybody else that he brought with him, and because we know that staff can only do the things that council approves and their recommendations are implemented, I think that you all should be in the picture as well, since you are basically empowering them to do these things, which led to this award. So you decide what you'd like to do.
Could I suggest, I think at least Mayor Irwin should be up there, because this was one of her goals when she first came on council, was addressing this, so.
But it was a team effort, so.
It was.
If you guys come up here, maybe we can you get everybody?
Come up there with us?
If you want me to. Yeah. Okay.
That work for you, Amy?
Do we stand?
Yes.
It would be nicer to stand.
I will stand to squeeze together.
Matt, you should be holding this. You made it happen.
All right, 1, 2. Gotta make sure everyone's
Thank you.
It's a bad hair day anyway with the winds.
I know.
You're good. Anyway. Thanks for your leadership on this, Matt. Manny, thank you for coming here tonight. We appreciate it very much.
Welcome. So hopefully within the next little bit, we'll do silver.
Okay. We can keep working towards that, right? Okay, moving on to item D7, is consider approving the purchase of items to build and install a custom audiovisual broadcast system for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Tony.
Good evening, Mayor Irwin, Vice Mayor Buse, members of the council. We've been in this beautiful building and facility now for, I believe, about 4.5 years. Is that right? Coming up on 5 this November. We've learned a lot. We're very happy here. It's great, a great venue for our council meetings. When we first came in, Matt and his crew oversaw the installation of all of our audiovisual equipment, which is wonderful. Nobody had a crystal ball that saw COVID coming. When COVID hit, our meetings were closed and we had to scramble to start doing a live stream of all of our events and council meetings here within this building to keep our community informed and apprised of what was going on. The equipment we had was not conducive to live streaming. And initially, I believe Annie was just doing it on her cell phone. We eventually contracted with Birdman Media, Rob Hefner, who has now joined us on staff. And he really elevated that opportunity and the quality of our broadcast. We still learned a lot. We had several people saying, hey, I can't hear you on my phone. It took a lot of trial and error and investigating. Turned out it was analog phones that were not working. So we had to really work through this process for the last couple of years. We are now able to do a pretty decent job of live streaming our events. There's still some hiccups. We've made some improvements. We've changed out our microphones, but there's still work to be done to really improve and bring this to the next level. So what we're asking tonight is for council to approve expenditure to upgrade our audio visual system. This is a non-budgeted item. so it's not in our budget. However, we've determined we can use ARPA money to cover the cost of this. We went out, we solicited a bid for the overall project, which would have included video as well as audio. Came back to the tune of about $185,000. Significant, but much needed. Our staff, Rob, and I should point out, we are using his personal equipment still to do this. Rob took a look at it along with Ryan and reviewed it with Matt, and we determined that we could really source the visual portion of it, the video portion of it in-house and save cost. So we'll still use TPI for the audio portion of it. That is to the tune of about $38,000, but sourcing, taking it internal and sourcing internally the video portion of it cost only about $36,000. So the total cost is $73,517.36. So huge savings over the $185,000. I'm going to turn it over to Rob. He is going to go over very quickly some of the technical aspects, and since he speaks the language, he'll be able to answer questions better than I can.
Thank you, Tony.
I'm also going to run it while I'm doing it. So thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Basically what we're going to do is upgrade the audio internally here to give better control over individual microphones, which you'll notice sometimes are louder or softer based upon who's speaking, and also be able to control on and off for those who don't have to worry about whether your mic's on or off. And then additionally, we're going to upgrade the system so that we're not in the back, you don't have this in the middle of the floor. Everything will be less invasive here in the room, and we'll be in a control room in the back of this facility here. Additionally, we'll add the ability to broadcast outdoor events. So we'll be able to cover the parade, we'll be able to cover the events that happen over here with the veterans area, and anything else that we might have to have, whether it be an emergency management system or situation or anything like that. So if there's any other questions.
Rob, any questions for Rob? Councilor Snitzer?
Will this system provide, like, in case of, say, a big forest fire or something like that, like a focal point for community awareness?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we'll be able to do is we'll be able to do either from inside the building or external to the building. Like if it's a larger, you get a larger gathering of people, like do a press conference, that we'd be able to accommodate that.
Councilor Brimhall?
One question on the.
Please turn your mic on.
Thank you. This is an example for that reason, just so you know it's planned. On the quote, is this GSA? Like, did we ask if they're GSA pricing or just like commercial pricing for the quotes?
So all the pricing was done through Omnia, I think is the name of the company, that actually sets pricing, so it's accepted as part of the procurement process.
Is it GSA pricing or is it like a commercial? Is this the same pricing as a commercial?
It's better pricing.
Okay.
I can look at one of the websites I look at. I can see the pricing of what I see normally, and then what they get. I'm like, wow, can I buy?
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Rob or Tony?
I think one of the nice things, and you just pointed it out, you didn't turn on your mic. You will no longer have to worry about that. You'll no longer see me in the back going, your mic, your mic. So that is one of the added benefits. We will be, as Rob said, completely out of the room, operating. I think if you know that little storage room right now behind the conference room, that is where our control suite will be. So we'll be operating everything out of there. You won't have to worry about your mics. We'll be able to turn you on and off from back there.
Gives you a lot of control.
It does.
I have one more question, Mayor.
Sure, go ahead.
Is this equipment you're purchasing, how is like the lifespan? Will it last for 5, 6, 7 years, or is it every couple of years we'll come back to ask for more fund or additional items, updates?
So, I mean, obviously things change every single year, so you're out of date next year. Or, the nice thing is everybody just introduced their new products here in April because NAB just happened. So we will be able to get on the front end of that. But
you're looking at equipment that we're using today that's almost a decade old. So it will work into the future and for our needs.
Anything else? I'd entertain a motion then.
I move to approve the use of $73,517.36 for an audiovisual broadcast system to be purchased, installed, and managed by the Community Services Department for the broadcast of the town's public meetings and other events as needed, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. That is the last item on our agenda tonight, but I just would like to remind everybody that the Blue Ridge High School has got 3 more performances, I believe, of their musical Footloose tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday afternoon, I believe. It was an incredible performance. Those young people are extremely talented and worked really hard. So I encourage you to go support the school district. Anyway, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.